On October 10th, 2024, Hamtramck police pulled over a car for running a red light and no license plate. 3 teens inside. Officers had no idea that because of this group, 2 innocent people would be dead just minutes later.
I don't want it to
Record
escalate.
this.
Okay.
I'm trying to get home with my
Record
sister.
this.
Okay.
She
You
has
don't
to
have
let-
a-
I
she has
have
the
a right
ID.
to
They're
call your
sitting here.
supervisor. Why can't you call your supervisor?
Well, I'm not
I'm trying to
required to
get
do
home.
so.
Yes, you are. If I feel like I'm unsafe, I don't feel safe.
We're gonna break your window.
We're going to break the window if you don't step out.
And then you're coming out anyway.
The driver had no valid license and refused repeated commands to step out. Tension spiked fast. Officers moved to extract her. The window was broken, and a struggle followed.
No, step out of the car.
We're not gonna
She just graduated college.
call your supervisor.
Don't reach your window.
That window.
Then she shoved the car into drive, and the teens took off, turning a traffic stop into a pursuit.
Approaching corner. We just threw something out the window at Harold. Continuing northbound through Palmer, approaching Carpenter. Northbound through Carpenter. Speeds are 60 through Charles. Approaching the Davidson. Northbound through Davidson. For McNichols northbound, just crash out. Called Detroit.
And oh my God.
She blew through 5 red lights at high speed. At the last one, it finally happened. A brutal crash into stopped traffic. The scene looked straight out of a nightmare. 2 doctors were killed. Sue John Mia, 37, and his 73-year-old father, M.D. Norm Mia. 2 innocent lives lost to a decision they had nothing to do with.
Get on the floor now! Get on the floor!
Stop. Wait, my sister. She didn't do nothing. She didn't do nothing.
I don't care. Get on the floor!
She didn't do nothing. It's
You
all me.
just sit down.
In the end, only the driver faced consequences, sentenced to 7 years in prison and hit with a $300 fine. The passengers weren't charged at all. 2 doctors were killed, a family was shattered, and the final outcome left many asking how this could ever feel like justice. On April 9th, 2021, a Georgia State Patrol trooper clocked a white car doing 95 and a 55 on Interstate 85. The driver, Kenneth Poole, didn't slow down. He accelerated, weaving through traffic and committing to the run. Watch the car closely because in just moments, this vehicle would be so violently destroyed, it wouldn't even be recognizable anymore.
5.3 right on to 80. 400 north, approaching Lennox.
North, approaching Lennox. What's your plan?
Still approaching Lennox. Approaching Lennox, they just blacked out.
Approaching Lennox, I just blacked out. Okay.
They They're getting off on Lennox. Stand by, stand by.
Alpha Lennox.
They're hanging a left on Lennox, almost 1050. Atlanta, 1050, vehicle fire, starting med and fire, 1018, 1018.
10-4, vehicle fire, 1018.
Atlanta, the vehicle's overturned on fire. I need everybody, 1018.
The chase ended off Lennox Road in a way that's hard to process. The car blasted through a red light, overturned, and caught fire. I've seen a lot of police chases, but this crash was on a different level. The vehicle was so mangled it didn't even look like a car anymore. Troopers rushed in with fire extinguishers as flames swallowed what was left.
Hey man, can you hear me? 523 Atlanta, I got one guy still breathing. I got him deploying fire extinguisher.
Passenger Detarius Minor was ejected into a concrete wall and pronounced dead. The driver, Kenneth Poole, survived and was taken to the hospital. A Glock 19 was found near the scene along with suspected drugs. And here's what enraged people after fleeing and killing his own passenger. Poole was released on bond. One life lost, and the system let the driver walk. On January 2nd, 2026, officers stopped a silver Toyota after it crossed the center line on East Broadway. The driver, Andre Stewart, looked nervous, smelled strongly of marijuana, and had drug items in plain view. When officers told him to step out for a search, Stewart panicked, threw the car in drive, and took off.
It's a black bag, probably marijuana. Going south on School. East on Water, speed 60. No traffic. No traffic.
Stewart blasted through a neighborhood at 80 miles per hour, running every stop sign, tossing items out the window, and treating residential roads like a racetrack.
David 14, the vehicle crashed down. It's a severe crash. Start EMS. Stop! Do not move! I'm on water and power line. Do not move! Stop!
At Water and Lynch, Stewart hit a massive bump, lost control, and slammed into a trailer loaded with wood. The crash was brutal. Honestly, unbelievable he survived something that violent. Turns out the random trailer in the road worked better than spike strips. Stewart crawled out and complied, and officers recovered marijuana, methamphetamine, and a scale, including items he threw from the window. He later admitted he panicked because he knew he had drugs in the car. With felony fleeing and drug charges stacked together, Stewart is now facing years in prison. On December 7th, around 2:48 a.m. in Columbus, police responded to a tense 911 call. A woman reported that her son was trying to break into her home, banging on doors and windows, and that he threatened to shoot her. Officer Caitlin Robinson rushed to the call with lights and sirens on. Robinson pushed the police cruiser past 100 miles per hour, racing eastbound on West Broad Street. As she reached the intersection at North Central Avenue, the light was red, and despite the lights and sirens, the pickup driver never saw the cruiser coming.
There's a cruiser-involved crash at Central and Vaughn.
Traffic 10-3 Central and Vaughn.
The crash site was straight from a nightmare. Both officers survived, but Corey Tense was ejected nearly 40 feet from the wreck and died shortly after. His family has announced plans to sue, while the Ohio State Highway Patrol investigation remains ongoing. November 16, 2024, just after 6 p.m., when troopers T. Phelps and E. Ho spotted a Pontiac Grand Am on Towson Avenue in Fort Smith with no license plate. They tried to make a traffic stop, but the driver, 23-year-old Kevin Swafford, had no intention of pulling over. In the passenger seat was 25-year-old Calvin Eubanks, also from Fort Smith. He was along for the ride, but he wouldn't make it out alive.
Southbound, 0 going on 0. Go passing 271 on 0. 0, 0, 5, 1, 0, 0. G's 80. Correction, start over or continue speaking numbers. Getting land on 0. Correction, start over or continue speaking numbers. Ran the red, South 24th, going on 0. Approaching South 31st, on 0. Traffic still medium. Ran the red at South 31st.
At the corner of 0 and 31st, Swafford blew through another red light. He smashed into 3 other vehicles at high speed. The Pontiac was torn apart. Both Swafford and Eubanks were ejected from the car. Troopers arrived at the crash site within moments. Eubanks was pronounced dead at the scene. Swafford was treated for minor injuries, then taken to the Sebastian County Jail. He's being held without bond, facing felony fleeing, and more charges, including those related to his passenger's death. If convicted, he could face up to 20 years in prison. On December 13, 2023, 19-year-old Antoine Randall refused to stop for Montgomery County officers for the second time that night. After hitting police cruiser, he took off again with a teenage passenger sitting beside him. A split-second decision that was about to end in tragedy.
I just got. He just fucking hit my. He just hit my car.
4 Lincoln 14, I'm gonna be behind him.
Okay, I need to know if I look over. Left on the wrong way on University, and then we're back on the right way. And we were at University in Georgia. Right on to Georgia. Georgia South. Northbound Georgia at Blue Ridge.
Randall pushed the Maxima northbound for nearly 2 miles, weaving through traffic and trying to outrun every siren behind him. Officers stayed locked on him as he fought for control, seconds from losing it completely.
Control unit, get in front of car 427. Right, 15. Track to right. Henderson. Henderson.
The chase ended when Randall clipped the median, went airborne, and slammed into 2 vehicles in the southbound lanes.
I'm hands on. Okay, I'm with you.
Hands up, hands
on. I'm hands on.
Go, go.
One more. There's one more.
Where's you at?
If we can't get him, we can't get him. Don't.
Okay.
427, I'm gonna need another ambulance for 2 individuals that this got struck. They're complaining of leg and back injuries. Both conscious and ordered.
Randall survived, but his teenage passenger died at the scene, and several others were hurt. Randall later pled guilty and walked away with 8 years in prison, a sentence that feels hard to justify when a young life was lost under his decisions. On November 15, 2025, flock cameras tagged a Dodge Durango tied to an armed robbery and felonious assault, marking the pair inside as armed, dangerous, and not the kind to give up easily. When Sydney officers pulled into the Clark gas station, Treshawn Clemens didn't wait. He slipped out with Aaliyah Davis, hit the gas, and unknowingly set the two of them on a path toward a deadly crash neither of them saw coming. Clemens hit 120 miles per hour on Route 47, then tore up Cecil Road near 90, bouncing off-road several times as the Durango swayed across the lane. He might have pulled off a successful robbery, but behind the wheel, he was a disaster. On Cardo Road, the chase finally snapped. The Durango slipped off the left side, slammed into a ditch, and rolled so brutally it ejected Clemens, and he died on impact. Davis survived because she was smarter than her boyfriend and actually wearing her seatbelt. She was still tied to the armed robbery case and faced those charges while recovering in the hospital. In Missouri, officers spotted Kia Rio confirmed stolen and tried to pull it over. The driver wanted nothing to do with that traffic stop. He hit the gas, weaving through cars and blowing through lights until officers lost sight of him and terminated the pursuit. But units stayed in the area, and it did not take long before another patrol spotted the Rio again.
He's into oncoming lanes, but there is no traffic. We're going to be passing the new jail coming up to I-70. Get your spotlight up on him. Alright, we're back in the correct lanes of travel. We're still westbound underneath I-70. And this is going to turn into 31st here in a minute. Still westbound through White. Speed 70. Straddling on number 1 and number 2. He's missing the driver's side so someone can get all the other ones. Oh God. Alright, he's sparking pretty good. And we're gonna turn, I think it's westbound on Van Brunt.
Spike strips were laid out ahead of the fleeing Kia, and the suspect drove straight over them. His tires shredded instantly, and even as the car broke down under him, he kept forcing it forward.
You're good, do your thing. Speeds of 50. Straddle on number 2 and number 1. There's absolutely no traffic on the roadway. Speeds climbed a little bit to 70. Still in the number 1 lane through 34th. Alright, he just lost a whole chunk of the vehicle at 34th Street. He's an oncoming, however, there's no traffic. Just having a hard time controlling it. Back through 35th Street. Oh, oh, he's turning. 1050, 1050, start fire.
Heavy 1050. Stadium and Leaf.
The chase ended when the stolen Kia hit a median, left the roadway, caught fire, and rolled onto its side. Officers fought through smoke and flames to pull the suspect out and hand him to EMS.
You're gonna get.
Okay, my hands is up. My hands is up, sir.
Are you?
No, sir. This sir, they made me do it, sir.
I can take you to.
Sir, sir, my hands is down, sir.
With the Rio confirmed stolen, he is now looking at charges like felony fleeing and possession of stolen property, charges that can stack fast and easily add up to 5 to 10 years in prison. This was one of the most horrible motorcycle crashes you'll ever see. On September 4th, 2023, 63-year-old Michael Owens pulled out from Pfeiffer Road onto U.S. Highway 167 at the exact moment ASP Corporal Brandon Truen was in hot pursuit with lights and sirens blazing. Owens turned straight into the trooper's path with almost zero reaction time. Truen tried to swerve off the roadway to avoid him, but the motorcycle still collided with the front of the Charger, sending Owens down instantly. He died from his injuries. The trooper was hospitalized and later released, and no lawsuit or major follow-up ever surfaced. Just a tragic, split-second impact on a cloudy Arkansas afternoon. On November 23, 2024, in Riverdale, Georgia, a deputy tried to stop a black Dodge Avenger for equipment violations. Instead of pulling over, the driver, later identified as David Gilbert, refused to stop and took off, turning a simple traffic stop into a dangerous pursuit.
February, hold traffic. I got one taking off on me. Going down Poplar Springs Road towards 85. Big black Dodge Avenger. Going up to 85 now. We're going northbound on 85. They just crossed over the median, 85, going back southbound.
Gilbert drove aggressively, running stop signs and red lights, making an illegal U-turn and even swerving into oncoming lanes to escape. The pursuit pushed through busy intersections, with every move increasing the risk to innocent drivers.
It's a black Dodge Avenger. Forty-one, right here at Main Street.
At the intersection of Highway 85 and Valley Hill Road, Gilbert ran a red light and crashed head-on into a white Hyundai, nearly killing the driver. The impact was violent. Gilbert jumped out and tried to flee, but was caught after a short foot chase.
Traffic control. What else you saying? Hit and run, says violation.
The injured driver, Ms. L. Harris, was rushed to Grady Hospital, while Gilbert was later jailed on 15 charges. On December 4th in Oklahoma City, the driver had no idea a missing license plate would turn into his final run. Officers tried to stop the SUV near SW 59th in Pennsylvania, but instead of pulling over, he took off and sparked high-speed pursuit.
We're caught in a little bit of traffic. People are slowing it down. 121 secondary.
suspect pushed the SUV past 110 miles per hour, weaving through traffic and driving aggressively. At that speed, the margin for control was gone. It was only a matter of time before the chase ended violently.
We're going about 75 right now, about to pass 10th Street.
If you get a moment, turn back at your pursuit line.
Hey, you just crashed out 23rd Street. 1070.
Start fire, cars on fire.
The SUV clipped the exit curb, snapped out of control, and slammed into the concrete divider, tearing the vehicle apart on impact. The crash was catastrophic. The driver, alone in the car, was rushed to the hospital and later pronounced dead. A chase over a plate that ended in tragedy. This could have been just a speeding ticket, but it ended in a painfully bad way when the highway turned into a meat grinder for the biker. Arkansas trooper Ronald Grace spotted the motorcycle flying well over the limit, locked the speed, and the chase was on. The rider leaned into it immediately, thinking raw horsepower would save him. He pushed the bike past 150 miles per hour, wearing nothing but a helmet, a t-shirt, and sneakers. The kind of setup where one mistake ends everything. He was moving so fast that Trooper Grace briefly lost sight of him, but ASP doesn't back off. A few minutes later, Grace locked onto him again, still ripping down the highway at 140 miles per hour. The chase ended in a violent blur, still doing around 135 miles per hour. The rider never saw the car ahead and slammed into the back of it, folding over the trunk and getting launched down the highway. He slid about 130 feet across the asphalt wearing nothing but a helmet, a t-shirt, and sneakers. The crash was so brutal, I honestly wonder how he survived it all. On May 18, 2022, Trooper Walker spotted a silver Toyota Camry. merging onto I-630. The driver, Marcus Scott, wasn't wearing a seatbelt. When the trooper tried to pull him over, Scott exited onto Roosevelt Road, blew through a red light, and took off down the shoulder, triggering a high-speed chase through Little Rock.
Occupied 2 times, 2 buttons. We're patched in with Little Rock and Over Rock. Copy Broadway.
We weren't aware of anything. What's going on? North of that copy. Medium traffic, kind of also.
Coming up to Curtis Sykes.
Curtis.
Passing Curtis Sykes.
Passing Sykes at 110.
As Scott tried to exit onto I-40, he lost control. The Camry veered off the road, struck a street sign, and flipped violently, crashing onto its side near a construction road between I-40 ramps.
Anybody else in the car? Anybody else in the car? Anybody else in the car?
One person.
Let me check on them. They got any guns in there?
Got a driver in there.
Passenger Dior Cox was found sitting on an embankment. Marcus Scott was lying 20 feet away, unresponsive. EMS rushed Cox to the hospital, but Scott was pronounced dead at the scene. At 2:18 a.m., the highway was nearly empty until an Infiniti sedan crossed paths with a Maryland Transportation Authority officer. Seconds later, a pursuit began, and within minutes, that quiet stretch of I-95 would be the scene of a tragic crash.
Dispatch, copy chapter. Disregard vehicle fled and it just crashed.
The crash happened near exit 55. Officers arrived to find the Infiniti completely destroyed. 2 people had been ejected from the vehicle. Dispatch ordered medics in immediately as responders scrambled to assess the scene.
16 dispatch, can you start medics? It's going to be 2 individuals ejected from vehicle.
One suspect was unresponsive as officers performed CPR at the scene but was pronounced dead shortly after. The other was critically injured and rushed to the hospital, where later died from his injuries. In Macomb County, Michigan, troopers were tracking a gold Jeep tied to a retail fraud and felonious assault case out of Utica. The suspect, Joseph Lee Jackson, had already rammed a Utica patrol car multiple times before that chase was terminated. When Michigan State Police spotted the Jeep flying down 32 Mile Road, Jackson hit the gas again. He crossed the center line, past cars in a no-passing zone, and the moment lights came on, the chase was on.
location? Still eastbound, 395. Great, eastbound 395. That's it, sir. Traffic light. Going from 33, you can show me a route as well on the eastbound 94 total mile. He's out eastward. He's flashed. He's out eastward. He's flashed. He's out eastward.
MSP units closed in fast and dropped spike strips ahead of Jackson's path. He hit them at full speed, shredding his tires immediately. Jeep lost all traction, slid off the pavement, and rolled multiple times, throwing Jackson out of the vehicle in a violent ejection. He survived, but troopers handed him straight to Utica PD for the original felonies, with MSP adding felony fleeing, resisting and obstructing, and driving while suspended. If he is convicted on all charges, Jackson could be facing up to 8 years in prison, depending on how Michigan stacks the felony fleeing and resisting counts. Novi, Michigan, October 24th. 2025. Imagine you're strapped to a stretcher, thinking you're on your way to the hospital, when someone suddenly hijacks the ambulance you're in. That's what happened when 33-year-old Changlin Lee, a crash victim himself, jumped into the driver's seat of a MedStar ambulance and sped off. A paramedic and a patient were stuck in the back for the wildest ride of their lives.
Through center, continuing westbound 8 mile.
Right behind it.
Just past Green Ridge Drive, continuing westbound.
I got the radio, 30.
As Lee floored it through construction zones at 70 miles per hour, the paramedic and patient were screaming, begging him to stop. Sirens wailed, lights flashed, and for those trapped inside, every second felt like forever.
Westbound, passing last storm.
The chase ended at 8 Mile and Beck when Lee ran a red light and smashed into a GMC Yukon. The impact scattered debris across the intersection, but somehow everyone inside survived. Lee tried to run, but officers tackled and handcuffed him fast before he could reach for the knife he was carrying. He also tried to grab an officer's gun twice. His bond was set at $5 million, and the ambulance ride that started as a rescue ended like a movie scene gone wrong. September 14th, 2022. It could have been just a simple phone ticket, but when 24-year-old Javon Richards refused to pull over, it turned into a high-speed chase and ended in a deadly crash. Richards swerved straight into oncoming traffic. He flew down Veterans Parkway going the wrong way, nearly hitting cars head-on. Troopers tried to keep up, but it was clear this wasn't going to end clean. Richards ran the red light without hesitation, and that's when everything came apart. A white Infiniti SUV slammed into him. The impact threw his car into a guardrail and then into another vehicle. 3 cars wrecked in seconds. It was a brutal crash. Firefighters arrived within minutes, but it was already too late. Richards wasn't breathing and paramedics couldn't bring him back. At 2:01 p.m., he was pronounced dead at the hospital. A mother came searching for her son, but the chase had already taken everything. On October 5th, 2025, in Springdale, Arkansas, a white Honda CBR tore down US 412, blasting past traffic at 90 miles per hour in a 65 zone. When troopers tried to catch up, the rider, 22-year-old Jimmy Townsend, blew through a red light and cranked it up to 130 miles per hour. Even after the bike hit 140 miles per hour, Trooper Chris Belt stayed glued to his tail. Townsend weaved through oncoming lanes, blew through intersections, and tore past a busy park filled with families. Arkansas troopers are just built different. This guy wasn't getting away.
William Edwards. Central Research. Still out there, you're coming back up to Lakeview. If you can cut him off up there in that intersection, hold it.
He's down.
Townsend came hurtling down South Turner when Arkansas troopers sprung the trap. They blocked his path, cut off every escape. He slammed head-on into the patrol car, catapulted off the bike, and crashed hard into the grass. Even with a 600cc Honda, you can't outrun Arkansas state troopers. After a hospital check, Townsend was booked on felony fleeing, reckless driving, and multiple traffic charges. He's now staring at over a decade behind bars. In Los Angeles, California, on April 6, 2024, just before sunrise, officers rolled down Sherman Way and spotted a gray 2019 Lamborghini sitting at a red light. Behind the wheel, 51-year-old Elliot Dugan was dead asleep. And let's be honest, if you steal a Lambo, the last place you should be taking a nap is at an intersection with cops pulling up.
2827 South Los Angeles, approaching Moore Park at Code 37.
They pulled him over, and at first, Dugan seemed calm and cooperative.
How's it going, sir?
How's it going, man?
Good.
I was right next to you. I put my spotlight on you, man. You were asleep at the light. You're visiting out here? Yeah. Okay, cool. And do you have registration for the vehicle? Is the vehicle yours, sir? It's a what? A rental? Oh, okay. All right.
Once officers ran the plates back at the patrol car, everything flipped. The Huracan was stolen and Dugan had multiple felony warrants.
This is a regular traffic stop, right?
This was a regular traffic stop and then it turned into something else.
What is it?
This vehicle is stolen. I need you to come out of the car. This vehicle that you're driving is stolen.
I rented this vehicle, sir.
Okay, I need you to step out of the vehicle.
83 requesting the unit 100, 1 west of Yolanda with the spike strips.
Then came the pedal slam, 113 miles per hour in seconds, leaving patrol units fighting to keep up with that 610 horsepower monster.
Crash, UTC. Vehicle at STC on Sherman Way and Van Alden.
Frequency is stand by, 1047 is number 2, 5277.
He's got me inside this mess.
.47, let me have the frequency. Vehicle is TC'd. I can't tell, dude. Oh, wait. No, I can't tell, but this is the other half of the car.
When officers finally reached the crash scene, they didn't find a wrecked supercar. They found half of one. Dugan had lost control at 160 miles per hour, and the impact ripped the Lamborghini clean in two.
Hey, Roger. We don't have a suspect location or direction of travel yet.
The other half was hurled down the street, debris scattered everywhere. It took several minutes to even find the rest of the car. Dugan was ejected from the wreckage and pronounced dead at the scene.